Don't waste a moment of your life.
Ooh, the Sci-Fi Society crew.
We are the Sci-Fi Society.
DJ Anubis. Here with the Meltdown Radio podcast with my special guest, Sci-Fi Century, our fearless leader and founder of the Sci-Fi Society.
That whole story is like, that's pay-per-view, guys. You don't get a lot of that stuff.
All right,
How's it going, everyone? We are now live, and I would like to welcome everyone who's watching to the Sci-Fi Society podcast, volume 23. And just this, you know what? Let's just get this going, man, because I'm so hyped for this. To me, Castlevania Nocturne Season 2 is just, to me, a great start to 2025. And joining me is the Sci-Fi Society themselves, the Master-in-Chief of the Metal Tavern, DJ Anubis.
What's up?
And Sexual Chocolate, aka Jedi Granville, aka Walter Ross, and Gojira 851, Matt Jacobson, one of the founding fathers of the Sci-Fi Society, who helped me create this live stream and this group. So everyone who is watching, we are the Sci-Fi Society. And just to get started, me and, of course, Matt, Walter, and DJ Nubis, we all loved this series. And I'm a huge fan of Castlevania. Me and Nubis, me and Bajira, Matt 851, we already did. We covered the retrospective of Castlevania, the history of Castlevania, and to me, it's always been one of those. If it wasn't Godzilla, that was also an escape for me. It was the video game Castlevania, because everybody who's anybody, if you grew up in the 80s and early 90s, everybody had a Nintendo Entertainment System, and I followed that game. I followed that game even till now, and never did I imagine that they were going to make a series in 2017 on Netflix. And it just the first series was just amazing. Like it was so amazing, and we could talk about Castlevania for like hours, but we're gonna cut it. We're gonna make it. It's a long series, especially Nocturne. The last season 2, it was 8 episodes, probably about almost close to an hour. So we're just really gonna talk about the best parts of the series because we would be here for hours if we were talking about all eight episodes. And just to get it started, I'm gonna pass it to DJ Nubis because I know how much he loved it. He's also a fan. He knew about Castlevania back in the '80s. So just get it started, DJ Nubis. What you really thought about the second season? Just a quick what's what you thought about it, and then I'll jump from person to person on that.
Yeah, so I mean, I did really enjoy it. Obviously, before I even started, you'd already started at first entry, and you're like, "Oh, Anubis, we got some Egyptian mythology in here," and I was like, "Oh, you're speaking to my heart." So yeah, so I started watching it, and I really got into it. Obviously, they bring in Sekhmet as the central point of what they're trying to gather power from. This would be Erzabet and Drolta. There's entertainment headquarters. Now, for me, in this season, like I'll talk a little bit more later, but one of the things I really enjoyed was Maria, her power as far as she like getting stronger and more control. When she ends up confronting her dad, like that's like a very crazy moment. Like she just goes all ape shit and lets loose the Kraken, basically, that. So, the only thing I think that maybe you guys can comment on a little bit is so there's this one character that was a female leader of the French revolutionaries, and they end up making her a night creature. And she's this cool looking like almost sort of invisible Silver Surfer looking type of like being. And so, but we never actually see her do anything. And I thought that was kind of like a letdown a little bit because you kind of expected it the way they kept setting it up for her talking to Edward. I think the other creature of the night that does all the classical singing. So like, excuse me. I fully expected her to like have like a big moment in this series in this season, but it didn't happen. So I mean, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that, but I thought her character was kind of cool in terms of like the look and design and everything.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And just making sure to check. Is there an echo on my end again?
Nope, you're good.
Not really.
Okay, there's stuff that comes and goes, but it's not too bad. It's not bad.
Okay. Right now, if it gets any worse, I'll try the. I'll try the headset again. But no, yeah. I'll just add to that. Quick analysis on the captain of the French Revolutionary Army got killed and she got turned into a night creature. She's actually, I don't know, I think Matt can agree with me. She's actually, that character is actually, that creature is in, I think it's Symphony of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
And she does ice, like she does the three ice shots.
Okay.
They're called ice shades. You fight them in kind of like they're kind of like in the basement of Dracula's castle, and they're not exactly specific people. They're just resurrected people that have ice powers, and they create like ice cones that they throw at you. And in one room, one of them actually creates like an ice dome and actually can freeze the entire room and actually stops you from getting like a key item. So she is based off of an enemy in the video game, which was a criticism of season 2 of it. I don't know if it's already a criticism of all of the Netflix shows of Castlevania, that it shows too much love to Symphony of the Night. I love Symphony of the Night, so it can show all the love to Symphony of the Night. It can it absolutely wants to, but some states of criticism, I don't really have that, but yes, it is based off the Ice Shade. So there you go. That's the answer.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying because I wanted to add to that because she is a nice shade. And I understand where Anubis is coming from. Like it looks great. Like it's kind of like I really did like how they improvised even on some of Juice's attacks were from many of Dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's good how they implemented all that stuff. And then, but now I'll move to well, you know what, Matt, keep it going, man. Tell me, give us a quick what you really thought about it, just a refresher on what you thought about season 2 of Nocturne.
I really enjoyed it. Again, I had to I marathoned it because Netflix did update their payment plan, and I wasn't really going to be roped into that. So I marathoned the show in pretty much one night, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the opening, where Alucard goes to Egypt, and where the opening where it just shows, the more powers that he has, the love to Symphony of the Night. And I was taken back, we're showing him, in the more modern day of it, because I was more used to seeing, Alucard and, all the characters, in the olden days. And, that's the way I was brought up, seeing like the characters, olden day times, covered wagons and stuff like that. To see the French revolutionaries, with guns and everything, it's like, oh my goodness. But then when I saw it in Symphony of the Night, they were using more modern weapons. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this all does fit more. The fight sequences, just amazing. And then the art style, I'm not going to lie, I do like the art style from the earlier seasons more, especially season 1. But then, like with the new season of Nocturne, they made Alucard more pale, to look more like Dracula, where in the earlier seasons, he had more like a flesh color to his skin. But that seems to be more like right out of the game, again, the original Symphony of the Night, but it grew on me. Richter in the game, not in the game, in the show, just absolutely amazing, and he was a very slow fighter in the game. This is the way that was a part of the appeal in the games, is that you had to really time all of your attacks, with the whip, except for Super Castlevania 4, it was like lightning speed with your whip. In the other games, you had to really time all of your whip attacks because there was a wind up with every time you had to like time it. There was always like a delay with it. Where in this game or in the show, it's like no. He's like whipping this thing around like it's nothing. He's like a master with this thing. And then towards the end of the show, I'm not going to get into it because that's for us to discuss later. He's transforming to almost like a Dragon Ball character, but we'll get into that later. Absolutely awesome. What they did with Maria, I was taken back by. Once again, I'm a big fan of Symphony of the Night. But yeah, they really changed her character a lot in this, made her very different, but again, awesome. And yeah, I don't want to get too far into it because we're going to discuss it some more, but I really enjoyed from what I saw. So those are my thoughts. I really enjoyed season 2. Sci-fi.
I have the ear things on. Do I still sound muffled?
You were muted for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Is there there's not much of a what do you call it, a lag on the back, like lagging?
No, you were muted for a second there, but
Yeah.
No, it was muted because I put them on.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you. Okay.
But is it clear enough at least?
No, yeah, you're clear. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because now you can't hear that little echo in the background.
No, you're good.
Okay, good.
I confuse easily. I'm sorry. With technology, I confuse easily. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah. Okay, no, yeah. I mean, a lot of the points you just mentioned. I mean, there's Maria, and then like I have to agree with Matt, just to say real quick that Maria was exactly almost close to what she was in the original Rondo of Blood. So remember, everybody who's watching, it's loosely based on Rondo of Blood, Castlevania Rondo of Blood. But they add their own, they have to add their own spice to it because, of course, the big bad is already gone. So yeah, but I do agree with Gojira on that, and yeah, a lot of the characters, man. Richter was almost pretty close to his original origin, but I do agree, and a lot of great stuff, man, on what Gojira said. So now, Jedi Granville, let us know. Just give us a quick, what you thought about season 2, and then as we start on, then we'll start talking about it.
Well, like I say, well, as you know before, I'm not familiar with the games because I didn't know Castlevania started out as a game to begin with. But this season and the previous season were whole kick ass, for what they are. And as I say, it's funny how each character goes down, and that's something I've noticed. Not everyone has arc. Character arc that you think is going to go the way you think it's going. As we mentioned before, Maria, she does something that she does a total Anakin in one part, but we'll get to that when we get to it. She does that, and I did not think that she would go that deep with what she does. But I guess that just shows how much pent up anger she had with what she was dealing with. But as far as the other characters go, they have so many more layers to them that you wasn't expecting them to come to life. And it's something like the news mentioned. The captain of the army. She gets turned to a night creature, but I'm expecting, and I guess that shows right there how I don't know much about the games. I was not expecting her to come out more. Put it like this: I didn't expect her to be uber sized. I didn't expect her to be this incredibly, goddess looking kind of creature. And like I say, it's like, okay, that's not what I was expecting. But as and it was said again, I was expecting a little bit more from her, but she does a little bit at the end of the series, but it's not a lot. But maybe if they have a season 2, like season 3, maybe that character might transcend into something more in there. But as far as the series goes, the episodes and everything, I just, like I say, you was there, you heard me. I was like creaming in my pants looking at this. It was just that exciting. So,
No, can I say that Walter really liked it?
Walter,
can I literally say that?
Yeah, you can
That
literally
you
say
really
that.
liked it? Yeah, because he, like I said, Anubis Gojira, he was literally losing his shit, and he was like this, man, like his eyes, like just on it, man, and we're already barely like we're 3 episodes in season 2, and even season 1 he had not seen it, and we almost finished it, and he was like, dude, we got to keep going, one more episode,
Yeah.
you sure? One more episode. So yeah,
That's how into I was. So yeah,
Have you seen the other seasons, Walter?
Yeah, I've seen all the seasons. I've seen. Yeah, I watched. I watched all through with the sci-fi, and like I say, dude,
you guys start from the beginning.
Yeah, I think he had to be a support individual for me because I was losing my shit through every episode more and more, and he's finding out who's father of that person. And it's like, what the? I'm like, dude, I was always WTF and on certain episodes, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? But as I said, yeah, sci-fi can pretty much vouch for me that I was, loving this show. I was loving this series.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was. He had to watch all of season 1 first, so we can do season 2. So we went through first 4 episodes, and then we did the other 3 the next day. And he's like, dude, next day, even though it was Monday, he's like, I don't give a shit. Let's do it next day. I was like, all right, let's do it. And we did it. And he was liking it. John was in the background, but he was like, just like, oh man, okay, whatever. But no, yeah, but like I said, guys, to me, before we get started, it's a great way to start off 2025, and especially me, not being always motivated to want to do streams lately because of everything I'm going through. But this I had to. This I had to get the guys that are really invested in it. I'm not saying a lot of the people in the in Sci-Fi Society are not invested. It's just you have the people like us who are really invested into it, especially the Werewolf Master, DJ Anubis, and the sword and sandals type of guy, Gojira 5-1, and then Jedi Granville just soaks it all up like a sponge. So, guys, now I want to just take it and into the information on Nocturne. And of course, Castlevania Nocturne is an American adult animated dark fantasy action television series created and written by Clive Bradley and led by producer Kevin Colde for Netflix, a sequel to Castlevania the animated series. It is based on the video game series of the same name by Konami and adapted from the 1993 entry Castlevania Rondo of Blood. And this 1997 sequel, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Well, that's a little bit of a toss up yet because we've seen a few additives from Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but not fully Symphony of the Night. That they would have to probably, if they decide to go with season 3, but we don't know yet. But just more on the information also with the voice actors: Edward Blumel, Dioso Lebedu, Pixie Davies, Richard Dormer, Sidney James, Harcourt, Natasha Kinski, Zahn McLaren, Aaron Neal, Sophie Skelton. Yeah, the list goes on, but it's a pretty damn good voice cast. And just to start it off, man, I will start off season 2 with, of course, all of us were losing our shit when we found out that Alucard was gonna come into season 2, and he did. He made a hell of a freaking entrance, killing Drolta Swintis right off the bat, right in the last minute of the last part of the show. And then now we go into the beginning of it where, you know what, hold on. I'm going to give it to Anubis since he is Anubis, since the beginning of that first part we have to talk about because it is his, how do you say it, his inner world sanctuary of Egypt. So I'll just give it to him as he explains how Alucard made a really good, really badass introduction. We already knew he was badass from the first series. Now this is just going to implement. Anubis is just going to explain how badass that first part was.
Yeah, so for those that don't really know, Alucard is basically the half human, half vampire son of Dracula. And one of his greatest strengths is his ability to wield his sword through the air without touching it, just with his mind and telepathy or whatever, and he's got it winging around and stuff. So anyway, he's searching for the mummified body of Sekhmet because he knows that Elizabeth is trying to find the corpse to gain power from it. So he's in Egypt and he's, going to the ruins or whatever, and he comes across some protectors of the ruins, which we find out later this is basically Drolta's cult, I guess, guardians of the when she used to be just an Egyptian woman way back in the day. But these vampires now that are protecting it, they're going to give him a fit, and of course Alucard is just not having any of it. And he's always so calm, and he's always just look, you could just step aside. There won't have to be no problem here, but vampires are stupid like that. They want to try to take him on, and he just ends up whipping their ass to nothing. He's just very, very good. It's very rare when Alucard is actually met with any kind of match with any kind of demon or vampire. And so obviously these underlings are just no competition whatsoever. And so I just thought the whole theme of it all was great. The constant trying to get the body of Sekhmet and even when they finally get the power, you've got this power struggle between the spirit world and the real world. And it's just a very cool setup in terms of how they applied it to season 2. I thought it was great.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why I had really remembered, like, I had to give you that, at least that beginning part of season 1, because it's like I said, it's in ancient Egypt. I really like how they implemented the BC or ED or CD or something. I don't know what it was.
The
Yeah, CE. There you go. Yeah, and like they did really, like, with the small details. They really went out of their way to make it work. And then, like I said, everybody who's watching, we're not gonna go through all 8 episodes individually because it will be here forever. So I'll just start off with what I really liked about. I mean, we're gonna jump from the Sci-Fi Society members. I'm gonna get everybody's take on everything, but I just really want to, like, talk about how they really made Alucard look even more like a vampire. Very pale. His design was a lot more attuned with Symphony of the Night, and
It should be noted too, though, that Olrox in this season is a beast. That dude is a fucking beast.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Alucard, Allrox, Richter, Annette, Maria, Tara, the Abbot, Emmanuel, um, Mizrak, Drolta, even even the you know even Elizabeth Battery, man. All of these characters got their time to shine in season 2, and I mean, just even the throwbacks to Juiced, from Harmony of Dissonance, and Richter from Rondo of Blood, Maria from Rondo of Blood. Um, Drolta, I think Drolta has a connection. I think I might have read some information or looked up some research that she does have a connection to the vampires or something. And using ancient Egypt, uh, going back, doing really good backstories on Drolta and Elizabeth Battery. Man, Elizabeth Battery, before she became a vampire, even though she was a serial killer, wow, that chick's an Amazon. She's probably at least like 6'4", but it's like she towers over everyone. And I like how they take those um those people with folklore from. I think she was Hungarian. She was a Hungarian serial killer that would kill young boys, young girls. They went pretty close to the source material, and I like that also. And man, Allrox, dude, even Allrox in his regular form looks like that dude, like the vampire aesthetic for the French Revolution and the 1800s or late 1800s or something like that. It was great, man. The attention to detail was amazing, and like, yeah, and we'll go to that, like how Maria starts being very, very rageful, angry, and summoning creatures who knows from a darker dimension, and they're much more fierce, they're much more uncontrollable. They're the Scorpion, like, holy shit, like all that is good stuff. And then Terra, poor Terra, man, taking the sacrifice and right off the bat being treated like shit by Ursabet, and then she straight up told Ursabet, I don't care if I'm a vampire, I ain't gonna show you no damn loyalty. Shoots her right in the face. I was like, wow, man. Like, okay, but see, those are just the takes that I'll talk about, and then we'll jump. Like I said, I'll jump back to Gojira 5-1, and then just talk about what you really liked about it, and we can get to some parts of the series where there's battles, and then there's a lot of going back to history and French Revolution and everything like that. Go ahead, Gojira.
Uh, I like the tragedy of Maria in this, with her mother in this. trying to control her powers and how she thinks that she's so powerful in this, how it ends up, getting away from her at parts, and her mother trying to, teach her, even though she can't really be with her, and then the tragedy of losing her later. There's that, and then there's, I can't remember what they kept calling him, the engineer or the creator, or what they call him in the show. I forget. The one that created all the night creatures.
The Forge Master. Forge Master.
Yeah, Forge Master.
Yep.
You know what he was supposed to be a hint to, right?
I thought it was to Shaft. Was it Shaft?
Yes. Yeah, he was supposed to be Shaft in Symphony of the Night. Yeah, he was supposed to be a hint to him. So they might actually be leaving a door open for him to be Shaft in the future. But anyway, moving on. But do we want to talk about what Maria does, to him later, or are we going to save that for a little later?
Yeah, just explain it, man. We'll all give our take on it.
You can go. Yeah, you can go on it. Like if people want to chime in and talk about it, it's fine.
Okay, so the tragedy is that she wants to be with her mother. Then Maria wants to be with her mother, but her mother is a vampire, and her mother is constantly always being treated, like an outcast, even though she's a mage and a vampire as well. And there's actually a really powerful scene in the show, where she has to go deliver a message, but it's during broad daylight, and she's like. And then her master's like, go deliver this message and bring him back to me. She's like, it's broad daylight. I can't go that far. She's like, well, you better try. And she actually makes her walk, and it's like several miles. So she actually has to create an ice beam above her head and actually block out the sun and actually walk from this amount of feet, this miles. Just go and deliver the message and then bring him back, to bring back his loyalty. So the tragedy, this show is full of so much tragedy. So eventually she starts to, see her daughter and see how much, hardships that she's going through. So eventually Maria snaps and sees the Forge Master, who we see is, a hint to Shaft. And then she sees that she wants to, wait, if I'm remembering this right, is it Shaft that she kills, or is it someone else that she kills? See, that's probably when
I think her dad is the priest.
Oh, it's the priest. See, I'm remembering. I'm
He's the abbot. Her dad's the abbot. Yeah, her dad's the abbot.
Crap. See, I'm misremembering this crap.
It's all right.
All right.
Okay, so all right, back up. Forget the Shaft stuff. All right, forget the Shaft stuff. Right. Okay, we're deleting all that. Okay, so the tragedy of Maria, so she sees the abbot. All right, so that's what. Okay, so she uses her most powerful summon, which in the games, they're cute in the games. They're like very small and fun. I remember fighting her in Symphony of the Night the other night ago. To prepare for this stream, and they're really cute. Yeah, blah blah. In this, it's this like massive kaiju looking thing, something she can't actually control at first. And I remember the one thing she does say to him, like, I'm tired of being at the mercy of stupid old men. And she uses the dragon to burn him to death, like where he's just nothing but a skeleton. And then she has to use all of her powers that she can do to, banish the dragon back to the void, which she almost doesn't do because it's so powerful at first. And she doesn't know how to control her powers. So it's just the tragedy that's built into this show. And I just made kind of an ass of myself on the show, on the stream, misremembering that. I'm sorry. Once again, only watched the show under duress, and so blah blah blah.
Under duress? You were under duress.
Yeah, not under duress, but as quickly as possible as I had to before the thing. So you know what I mean.
It's fine, man. It's
bro.
fine.
I make so many mistakes to make an ass of myself on every one of my streams, bro. So don't feel bad, dude. It's like me. Like I was already right in the beginning. Right in the beginning, I was already I was already like jumping the gun, and I was like, oh shit, fuck, it's been so long. It's been like a month since I've done one. So it's like you gotta, when you stream, dude. When you have to hold streams, dude, you gotta keep doing it consecutively so you can stay in the fold. and not like be like like me, because I sometimes overthink and I want to say so much at once, and then I'm like, oh shit, I just put myself in a freaking, I'm like in a losing train of thought, you know what I'm saying? So no, don't feel bad, dude. Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time. But no, but I'll will say this. Did you remember that that the abbot was actually her father?
Yeah, I remember that part. I got all those things kind of mixed together, jumbled together. So yeah, sorry.
I mean that. See, and we'll go off of that. Like, I'll just go off of that before I pass it to I'll pass back to Anubis about the abbot. It's crazy how he was turned to ashes, bro. Like you can see, like turned to ashes, and Juice is the one that saves her. Juice Belmont is the one that saves her, and he was able to actually revitalize he was able to use magic again because he felt it was something he needed to do, which was protect Maria. And he was able to, oh shit, I was able to use magic. And then Maria was like way in over her head, man. She's being a typical teenager, you know. Oh, I know everything, and I'm rebellious and all this shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing that got me, man, that really got me thinking now that we brought it up, was that crazy laughing image in the background that actually got the abbot and brought him down. It looks like, which must have been hell.
You think he
Like-
got turned into death?
No.
It's something like that, because obviously Allrox is using that same shadow later on as a helper, and then we see the same shadow with Terra at the end, which is the mother of Maria. So that's going to play a part going forward. So I can only assume that the shadow is still the abbot in some form. It just like, but that's sort of like what they were doing with Maria's character. Is they were like, she went through like this character arc where she was very angry when she was conjuring stuff. She was losing control. And then later on, she'd have to find her peace, her inner peace, and make where she can control everything. But that was sort of the lesson, was that she scorched her dad down to nothing. And then that led to him being something else, probably even darker. So that decision she made led to something else. So that's probably play in the season 3 somehow. But the funny thing about this, and I'm really curious about all of your guys' opinion about this, is I didn't realize there was like such a big pushback on this series, especially this season. Everyone's so angry about the Christian aspect of it, and like as if they're like, well, why are they writing this stuff like this? Because, they're making Christians look really bad. It's like, well, hold up. First, it is a vampire show based off a vampire game where religion is being used as a tool to like persecute people. This starts from season 1 with Dracula. It's the very people that crucified his wife, out of whatever nonsense because they thought she was a witch. So now they're upset that the abbot gets torched. I'm like, well, you're trying to make it sound like religion can't be corrupted. It's not that religion's all bad, but in this particular context, it is, and they show it throughout the entire series. It's like you see these bad Catholic priests doing evil things, and in this case, the abbot's been working with the dark side. Like, I mean, he's literally doing that with Erzbet.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. What are your thoughts about all the backlash? If you've seen anything at all, because I see it all the time now. It's like kind of weird, but
Can I chime
Yeah.
in with
Oh
that
yeah,
one?
go ahead.
'Cause
Yeah, go ahead.
Because that I can kind of say, kind of vouch for Nubis on this. It's, see, now I myself, y'all know me, I'm kind of a religious individual. I am. The thing is, I don't let it hotwire me to the point of insanity to where it's like, okay, I know what you're supposed to follow, but I'm not gonna go, beat down someone's thought process of that kind of ideology. You're supposed to let it become to them, whoever you teach it to, naturally. You're supposed to bring it to them, to be with that. That's kind of with me. I mean, it was taught to me. I was a slow learner, but the thing about it is, I took it on myself, started to sign the self supporting this stuff. So when you got some people who are like super religious, those ones are the ones that really let themselves get kind of corrupt. And like I say, in these shows, it's just showing exactly what happens when, because the Abbott even says, I thought I was doing God's work. Thought I was doing it. It's like, dude, you might be a priest. You might be saying you're doing work, but you are doing the most heinous thing, thinking that is doing God's work. That's pretty much literally the devil's work. Okay. But you can't really say that because somebody's going to get offended and all that shit. It's like, dude. And then again, here's the cap on that. It's a fucking show. It's a motherfucking show, dude. I mean, get off that high horse and thinking that, okay, we're talking about religion. I mean, I've seen all kinds of things being done with religion, but then again, it's like it's just showing or leave people get up kind of foreshadowing that be careful that you don't let religion be something that's going to be corruptible in sense of like it's going to take over things. I mean, yes, we got to remember it's people. It's not the thing that they're learning. It's the people who are learning it that are corruptible. I mean, I was just talking with Kevin and Dane when we was doing Midnight Mass, and we was talking about how religion is really done in a bad way, and seeing that you're doing it thinking that you're doing it to justify what you're doing, but in the end, what you're doing is not right. It's wrong. You're going against the principles of what the gospel is. And I feel like people tend to forget this is fiction. Okay, this is just play acting. This is all this stuff. It's like, stop with that. That to me gets me tired because I'm like, y'all are exhausting me to hell and gone, saying that, oh, why y'all treating, the religion people like this? How you treat like dude, stop, take a breath, realize something. This is fiction. Okay, this is make believe. Yes, we're taking something that's in everyday life, but stop letting yourself get overwrought with this stuff, dude. It's just a fucking show. Let it go, man. It's crazy how people do that. And I don't get all bent out of shape about that. When they show religion some kind of way in there, I was like, that just shows me that this person who's using religion to kind of do their own agenda, it's like, okay, they're doing it in the wrong way, but at least I know that it's not the thing that they're doing, the book or everything. I mean, at least I know I'm not getting corrupted like that. This person is, And in the end, it's like, dude, not everyone's going to think like that. It's probably this handful of people who's thinking like, why is this getting blown out of proportion like that? And I'm just like, it tires me. That's all I'm saying. But I'm kind of I'm ranting a little bit too much about it. But the thing is, it's a show, it's fiction, and people who say, when they see things that deal with religion in any kind of film, I would say this: why are you watching it? Yeah. Why are you watching it at all? That's something I don't understand right there. If you feel offended, why are you watching? I would say stop watching it and you will get offended.
Disengaging from the real world, like they just can't let it go. It's like, because even some of the other stuff is like, well, this isn't really accurate to the games. I'm like, dude, a lot of series of any movies and TV shows are not totally on point. There are always going to be some variation to it. So,
I mean, it's that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, what about the first series? We'll get back to the first series. See what the bishop got freaking waxed. Bad. They didn't show it. Yeah. They didn't show it, but you could tell he got his after all the evil shit he was doing. Now they're bitching and complaining about what happened to this guy. I mean, bro, like, go back to history. There's always been corrupt freaking people who work through the church, the Vatican, all the churches that are, or all the places of worship, the places of religion, whether it's Christian, Catholic, Mormon, all that stuff. There's always going to be corruption in that, and that's what they're showing. It's not an actual abbot being burned to freaking death. Who knows? Even back in the freaking medieval days, they probably did the same thing. They killed people. Well, the French Revolution, they say that they were beheading people of the church.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, and then okay, watch. Look. If anybody does watch this, on it's only showing there's 2 people watching, but if anybody wanted to get back this and watch this on replay, it's a fucking show. Mm-hmm. It's entertainment. And I'm saying like I'm a gamer. I'm not a hardcore gamer like Gojira. I'm not a hardcore gamer more like a DJ Nubis because he has a PC. It's like it's like
PC
like
rocks.
it's a freaking show, man. Why are you bitching and complaining? It's entertainment. Oh, it's not true to the game. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make a freaking what do you call those shits? I'm gonna make
A rant.
you know what the fuck those shits are called? You know, like
But what the kicker
you know
is,
what I
is
mean.
when they start fucking bitching about Olrox and his lover, and I'm like, are you serious right now, dude? Like, for one, that shit doesn't even happen that often, and two, if you even paid attention to any vampire lore, dude, they are constantly with men and like men on men, women with women. That's a constant thing with vampirism. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's
Exactly.
like it's like these people just woke up one day and just they thought they didn't know what vampires were. It's like, you're an idiot.
I mean, what it see that's the thing too. Like Allrock's and Mizrak's relationship. It's like I mean, come on, it's a show, man. It's a show. It's and I mean, and I don't mind that. Like I said, here we're not we're not and
Judging.
homophobic. We're not homophobic or anything like that. I have friends. We have friends who are. We have friends who are either LGBTQ or or gay or whatever you want to say it. I said gay. Yes, I said gay.
Yes,
I
gay.
mean, freaking. I mean, come on, dude. Like, and then that's what I'm saying. Like, why do these? That's the thing that gets me. That's the thing that lights my ass up, though. Is that why are they gonna complain or Christians or anybody who could complain? It's a fucking show, man. It's entertainment. Like Jedi Granville said, you don't like it, don't watch it. If you know it's gonna have, if a person who watches it remembers the first series, they're gonna bring religion into it. They're gonna bring religion into it. You know what I'm saying? That's just the whole part of it. And come on, anybody who knows the games and the guys who people who bitch or complain, oh, it's not true to the game. You cannot make it totally true to the video game. You cannot do it. It's like Richter. Yeah. Okay. What if they would have made Richter the happy, jolly go lucky Richter that came out in Rondo of Blood? Or they're gonna make Maria the cute little anime version of her with all of her pets. You can't do that. And if people want be happy, they're using the characters from the fucking video game. Like, be happy about that. Me, man. Like shit. Like I said, I lost my shit when they added Trevor, Alucard, Sypha, and then when they added Richter, and then they Allrox. Allrox was just some kind of bald dude in Symphony of the Night. They made this dude look like an elegant, and they brought, they said, they're bringing in individuality of different cultures. Allrox, who's Aztec, Mexican, Aztec, but he even set the city of the Aztec kingdom, Tenochtitlan. He even brought that in. They're bringing parts of history. He said that, and then they bring in the French Revolution, and then they bring in the freaking gallows. You know what I'm saying? And that's you see what I mean? Like just that little part that Anubis brought up on how they what thought about religion. It's a fucking show, man. But here's the thing, guys. We already know, and I already know. There's always gonna be people who are gonna bitch, complain, and oh, you know what? I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna start that. I'm gonna boycott, or they should not mention religion. Come on, man. How many freaking people? And I hate to say it. How many people who are of the cloth have done that and are evil and are freaking wicked and are they get their just due when they find out what they do to their flock or their what I'm saying with their flock.
Well, the funny thing is, it's not even like the show's not saying that Christians are bad. It's talking about this is context for what's going on with these characters. It has nothing to do. It's not even the real world. It's fantasy. So like the fact that people are trying to correlate one with the other is just so ridiculous. It's over the top. I don't understand it. It just makes no sense to me.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing right there. It's like it's you forgetting that you're taking what someone is doing with this particular subject and you think it's all bad because that's what's going on. It's like, dude, as you say, it's one person, it's one character that's defiling this particular area. It's like realize that you're not you're getting blindsided by the fact that this person is doing this and you find like, oh, everything's bad. It's like that old adage saying one bad apple spoils a whole bunch. It's not like this. It's just one person who's doing dumb shit, and that person is getting pretty much fucked up with because he or she is doing dumb shit. But
I didn't mean to hijack the conversation, by the way. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts.
It's true. I mean, we all said that. You know, I wanted to. Usually, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks, bro. So go fuck yourself. But
I'm just patiently waiting for my turn.
Yeah, I just wanted to get into, get into little detail and add my 2 cents on. Come on, it's fiction. You know, it's a fictional genre of fantasy. They said it says there. People read, disclaimers or anything before you watch it on Netflix. Adult dark fantasy. I mean, it's seriously, man. I'm telling you, man. It's like, I mean, that's why I was telling to Walter before we get back to the show. I was telling Walter and Gojira about this. I don't like when it comes to shit like that. I don't watch any other people. I don't watch people like that. I don't watch people who have their own opinion. The only people I usually watch are the people in the Sci-Fi Society, Metal Tavern, Entertainment Headquarters, Gojira 851. Those are the only people I watch. The Omni Viewer. Those are usually the people I watch. I do not get or watch anybody's opinion on this and on that. Like, no, because I already know some people are gonna be like, well, why is the Abbott not bald? And why does he have hair? Why does he look like why does he have children? Or what does he like story fiction. Fiction. That's what I'm saying, man. But anyways, we'll get back to the series. Okay, so now we'll get into All Rocks and Mizrak, because I know Anubis wants to talk about All Rocks. Yeah, All Rocks is a freaking savage, man. Like you would think he wouldn't be afraid of Ursabet for the fact that he's a dragon, and I like the fact that if you see his designs closely, he kind of resembles an Aztec dragon, like kind of like the little things that Aztecs from the Aztec culture, like the diamonds, the bright colors. Yeah, and it makes sense. And but yeah, I mean, like All Rocks, man, like, and he's cunning, he's smart, he's elegant. He's an elegant vampire, of course, because he's LGBTQ even in the 1800s. But it's like I like the fact that he works behind the scenes and he has a moral code. He does have, as for a vampire who has a moral code, just like Alucard. Like, and like you said, he could have left, but what happened? He fell in love with the monk. Some people are calling him Templars. I'm like, he's not a Templar, dude. He's a monk.
Well, that's another thing that comes up in the series is that when we talk about certain topics like Maria's arc and stuff like that about good versus evil and her getting control of her anger and stuff, the other thing is the misconception that vampires don't have a soul. Like, that's the one thing keeps getting brought up about how, like, they can't be in love, they don't love you, but we see Maria's mother still cares for her very much, and then we see All Rocks and his lover. So clear, and even Erzabet, her whole thing is about Drolta. Like, she's wanting Drolta to come back because she's missing her and loving her. And it's kind of ironic at the end. It doesn't play out the same way she wants, but yeah. So anyway, go ahead. I know, Goji, you wanted to say some things, so go for it, brother.
Real quick, did anybody hear of the story Interview with the Vampire? Isn't that story like full of LGBTQ stuff? I mean,
I don't know, but it has to be. I mean, I've read books in the past. I mean, you got Interview with the Vampire, you got all that stuff. Yeah. It all has in there.
I mean, and it sounds like they're just like forgetting things on purpose just to like fit a narrative. I mean, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I've seen many. I'm just going to say this. I've seen many vampire films in the past, and I've literally seen gay interactions with vampires. I've seen lesbian interaction with gay vampires. And I'm just like, I never saw no real anything about it. I mean, I figure like, okay, that's just the nature of a vampire.
I've also seen straight interactions. It's it's a big deal.
I mean, Interview with the Vampire. Bandera's character actually had a young boy as a lover. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's pushing shit really hard
Yeah,
there. Right?
yeah, yeah.
No,
It's
it's
even like, and then
go ahead.
go ahead,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. Will.
I'm just gonna say it's
Go
like
ahead.
it's funny how that gets run away. That run away with that thought process. Like all this has come before in different medias of vampirism films, and it's like, okay, here's a situation that's dealing with vampires, but you feel like, okay, this is the first full blown nature of seeing a character that's gay and he's had interaction with somebody and his love for that person is real because it's dwelling not together like that. It's like you never seen this before. I've seen this multiple times. I mean, how are you gonna get overwrought by that? I don't see how you think, okay, this was never existing 1 second. Okay, this is existing now, and I'm kind of offended by it. It's like, what? I'm like, seriously, what?
You see? Yeah, and then before we get to Terra, and Maria, I wanted to mention this too. The abbot. I'm not getting into religious. I'm not getting back into the religious thing. I said the abbot already knew he was going to hell. Like he already knew he was going, because when he was burying and his night creature, especially Edward, the actual night creature who kept his soul, is like, he says, these men, believed in what you believed in, and yet, you're burying them. So what makes them better than us? We were men who were killed. So are we not worthy of redemption? Are we not worthy of being buried and being, having, being blessed, or being, like having prayers set for us? And that's where I said, man, well, this guy's a hypocrite. Not only is he a hypocrite, he knows he's going to hell.
Yeah.
So it's like, he even said it. He says, trust me, when you get to hell, I will see you there. Because I will see you there. And that's why I had to say that. And at least he admitted it. At least he admitted that he was going to hell, but the way he went out was totally cowardly. Like, the way he went out was totally cowardly. And then he went out bad, bro. He deserved what he got. Like, he deserved, because he was gonna sacrifice his own daughter.
Yeah.
So he deserved what he got. You know what I'm saying? And now, like, we'll go to Terra and Maria. And yeah, I mean, Maria. See, Terra still, even though she was a vampire, she did not even think about harming her, touching her, any of that. Even Mizrak, when Mizrak tried to say, "Oh, she's not your mother anymore," he didn't even attack. She didn't even attack him when she could have.
Right.
And then you have Terra, like, teaching, trying to teach Maria to harness this power of anger. Because in a way, okay, here's your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on it. In a way, do you think? I mean, it's kind of a little obvious, but do you think that Terra kind of pushed Maria to kill her father?
Actually, yeah. I think in some ways, yeah, because there's this like dark side that's still residing in Terra. Like she loves her kid, but I think she also is looking at it from a different, which I think will be played out in season 3 if they do one, is that Terra's going to be a more focal factor because Erzbet's gone, and now it's just down to the Shadow and Terra and like how that's going to play out. So, and whether or not it's more the Shadow playing games with her or not, I don't know, because the Shadow is very crafty, but I do think she wanted to try to bring Maria into her fold instead of allowing her to stay with Richter and all them. I think she wants to bring her to be with her. But of course, she's still a vampire. So there's that dark side that's there. So, and she has no love loss for the Abbot at all. So, yeah, because he kind of fucked her over anyway. So,
I can say wholeheartedly with this. I'll read this quick. Yeah, she pushed her a little bit, but deep down, the end result is it's all her decision as far with Maria to choose to go dark like she did, because yeah, you can whisper in someone's ear, and tell them, you should do this, everything. And if they do it, that's by their doing and choice. they're choosing to go that route. Yeah, just because that person, says you should harness this, you should embrace this, that doesn't mean necessarily that person is going to do that unless they choose to do it. Maria chose to go the way of what she did, and when she did what she did, I told you, sci-fi. I was kind of like, "Oh man, don't go this way. Don't go down that road. You're going down the wrong path of where you're supposed to be going with your power." And like I say, when she went full Theon, I was like, dude, I was like, no, she chose to do that. Yeah, Tara said, you should do this, but Maria chose to become, or at least do what she did, what she did to her father,
And she didn't regret it either.
No, no.
She stayed later on. She's like, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, and you should have seen Walter, man. When we were watching, it was just me and him, and he was like, "No, no, don't do it. No, no, don't, Maria." He's trying to talk to her, like she's, but it's funny though. Like
no,
he
it's
was,
really.
yeah, he was like, "Oh shit," like, "Oh man," she's like, "I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this, man. She's she's too pure of heart. She's too powerful to cooperate to that." But she did, she gave in. She gave into it, and I don't want to say that Tara pushed her, but she gave her a little nudge.
Yeah.
Because I think that Tara was so pissed off because the abbot tried to literally sacrifice her that she said, "Well, you know what? Why am I going to do it when she should do it herself?" And that's poking the the lion. It's poking the bear or poking the bear. And then, like, I like what the fact that Juice tried, and tried to stop her, and and do all that, and then I did like how even Juice tried to kill, Tara, and Juice is like, "Oh, you're every vampire is the same, no different, no different." He breaks her fingers, he freaking throws her daggers, makes her bleed, he freaking like, man, like, you could tell she's a vampire, but she's not all powerful. She's still barely, she's just a newborn. She's barely a newborn. So, but I'm surprised that she did not kill him. She did not kill Juice. But she did it because she still has that remnants of. She still has that remnants of
humanity.
Yeah,
soul.
humanity.
She has a soul.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And I'll get to Gojira. Like, what did you think, man? Do you think her mom nudged her?
Sounds like it, yeah. I was gonna say no because trying to keep that pureness, but you guys are convinced because it's because she kind of ran off, and said, "No, my daughter, I cannot be a part of your life. I'll always be around, but I cannot be part of your life." Just ran off into like the wilderness to be away from her, because she loved her so much. But you guys have changed my mind on that. So yeah, sounds like it, yeah.
I
So
mean, well, it does because she. I mean, I kind of looked at it. Okay, she's doing the right thing, but then, like Anubis pointed out, now she was towards the end. She was right there with that shadowy figure, and it was All Rocks. Now that I'll tell Anubis, it was All Rocks who was talking to that shadowy figure, saying that, "You know what? I know who you are. I'm a vampire. You won't be able to control me, but I know what you're doing." And this book, I think the abbot made a deal with that shadow, and he said that, "Yeah, I've heard of you, old man Coyote, Mephistopheles. Everybody knows who Mephistopheles is. If you ever heard of Mephistopheles, that's a demon that you make deals with for your soul." And it made sense when he mentioned that, like, Mephistopheles, like, how the hell is Mephistopheles in Castlevania? I never knew that. But it does make sense. But they're just adding to, things,
Nice.
so many things that this little shadowy figure can be. And yeah, like I said, and I did like how Juiced, now Juiced, you can tell that Tara said, "Well, I'll leave you with Juiced," and Juiced will, kind of guide you. He'll kind of guide you now that he can do magic again. So he's kind of like that grandfather figure that she never had, or the father figure she never had. And like I said, like that's well. And then what I'll do is I'll give everybody I want to ask everybody's opinion on what they thought of Juice Belmont before we get to the mains, before we get to Richter, Annette, and of course Alucard and Drolta and all that stuff. Like and we'll get back to Maria, especially during the last battle, because last battle she rocks some shit. But yeah, like what was your guys' thoughts on Juice? Like real quick. Oh well, yeah. Go with Anubis. Yeah, I'll go with Anubis.
Oh, me? I thought he was a cool character. I like him. Obviously he was kind of like dormant for a long time. Didn't really believe he had any magic left, and he kind of given up on trying to save the planet. So when he finally does come back, he's pretty good, fucking good. He's strong, and he's got the ring and doing all that shit. Yeah, I really like the character. I wish they would have gave us a little bit more with him this season, but they didn't. There's a lot of characters you have to deal with, so it's just hard to spread it out as evenly as you can. But yeah, he was cool. But again, he's like that catalyst too, because he's trying to look over Maria, and he sees that Tara's trying to reconnect with her daughter, and he's like, she's not the same thing. He's trying to tell Maria like she's not human anymore. She doesn't have a soul. And like that's where that battle comes in, where these vampires, no matter where they are, no matter how good or bad they are, they're telling you that they have souls of some kind because they have feelings for their partners or their kids or their whatever. And so it's kind of like a learning process for a lot of them, like just to open up and say, well, maybe I was wrong about this,
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was really cool too, though, because even at the end, Olrox, who's normally against everybody, is in there in the end helping Alucard and Richter. And there's this nice moment where, and in fact, you talked about earlier, Century, about how Olrox has like this sense of honor as a vampire. Now we've seen it twice. We saw it when he killed Richter's mom, but then towards the end, he could have killed Richter then and been done with it, but he's like, I'll see you again sometime. And so now we're fast forward, and they just got done kind of helping each other destroy Erzbet and Drolta. And so he's telling, or I should say Richter's telling him, is like, yeah, I'm gonna let you off this time because you did help us, but he says, make no mistake, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So there's this like, it's sort of a code of honor between the vampire hunter and the vampire, that they respect each other and not to say, okay, we're gonna have our duel, but it's just not right now.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, it makes sense, and that's why like with all rocks, and they, like I said, that what I like about the fact. Oh, okay. You know what? Let me go to Jedi Grand Bell about Juice, and then we'll keep rolling on that.
I'll make it quick. But Juice, he's like anyone who's older, pretty much rough around, real seasoned, as I like to say, seasoned. You feel like, okay, that shows right there. He's an old dog, but he's an old dog who still has the upper hand because he knows something, and what he knows is that he knows how to wield a sword. He does have the powers of a what was this? It's not sleeper. It was what they call them. Cipher. Yeah, he has the powers of Cipher. So knowing that, it's like, okay, is he going to bring something to the game here? Is he going to do anything? And sure enough, when that moment when Richter, who hadn't used any of the Cypher's powers in a while, something triggered it where it reopened or reawakened in him. That's the moment that same with Juice. He had a moment where he helped Maria stop the dragon from destroying her, and his powers kick back in. It's like it's something innate released, that it was an emotion or whatever, and it lets you know that Juice might be old, but he ain't done. And I think that's just a telling of anyone, just because you get up in age, and it's got this stuff that we mentioned earlier, it's like we're up there in age, but we're still got some miles to go before we reach the pinnacle of ourselves, and I think that's what Juice, he's like I say, the character is like 60 years old, which I thought he was older, believe it or not. But he's got so much to offer, and it shows that he's somebody who hopefully if they do a season 3, he'll bring more to the game in the season to come. And I hope they do. I really do, because I want to see more of him interaction and his abilities of what he does as a exterminator of vampires.
Yeah. Well, before I get to Gojira, I'm just picturing like I'm gonna buy a white wig for Anubis just to see how he would look as Juiced.
I already got the grayness down here, so that might work out okay.
I gotta see that.
I would just say because Juice kind of reminds me of Anubis, because Anubis is a bit of a dick, but not to everyone. But it's like yeah, he'll be like, you know what? Yeah, he's and then that funny part where I don't know if you guys saw it, where Richter hugs Juice and Juice is like, what?
Yeah, right.
I don't know if you saw that. Like, I was laughing my ass off when he did that.
You're not my type, man. Back off.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's his grandfather, so I understand why. But the way the face he just looked at, his hands are like, okay, what should I do?
Yeah.
Like, but I just had to mention. But no, I mean,
was Juiced in the game?
Yeah,
he was. Okay.
Yeah, he was.
I just thought it was interesting because he's also, and you guys kind of made me think about it while you were talking about it, is that he reminds me a little bit of Whistler from Blade.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just in terms of attitude and knowledge and all this other stuff that's going on.
Yeah. No, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, you and Walter, you guys are older. You guys have knowledge. That's why I can just picture you with a white freaking wig, like Juiced, and see just say something kind of witty, but yet something kind of offensive. But it wouldn't make sense. But
yeah.
No, but I'll go with Gojira 5-1. Before you mention your thoughts on Juiced, you already know which game he came out of for Castlevania, which actual game, right?
No, I don't remember which one.
Okay, it's called Harmony of Dissonance.
Okay.
That's the game he was from, because I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Game Boy Advance when it came out.
I didn't have a Game Boy.
Okay, well, it was only ported to the Game Boy Advance. It never made a port to because it came out in the early 2000s. So I never got a port to 64 PlayStation. It's specifically just a port for the Game Boy Advance. So that's why it's called Harmony of Dissonance.
Okay.
So go ahead. Okay, so give us your take on Juice. What you thought of him?
Well, in the show, he's a great character. I always like the old man, mentor character. Like Vesemir from the Witcher series, or Ramirez from the first Highlander film. We're not talking about Highlander 2 or any other films that they dragged Sean Connery back to. He was great in the show, trying to help out Maria and, regaining his powers, like Jedi and Anubis said. Just the artwork with him as well. And I love the pauldrons. He had just the overall look of him. He kind of looked like Gabriel Belmont from Symphony of the Night, of Lords of Shadow a little bit. Like an older version of him. Imagine Gabriel Belmont from that, but put like a beard on him. The way how his cape looked. He put some pauldrons on him. Just a real badass looking character in it. And just obviously a swordsman as well. I just love the sword as well. And making him a mage as well. Just awesome character. I can't really add much more than what our co-hosts have as well. But awesome character.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like I said, that's why I wanted to talk about him. And I'll just say it here. He's from Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. Juiced Belmont is the primary protagonist in Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. So
Hey,
that's
can I ask one question real quick before we go any further?
yeah. Go ahead.
How many? Because like I said, I know this is based on game, or at least loosely based on a game. How many games in the Castlevania universe, video games, are there? Just out of curiosity.
Oh shit,
Too,
dude!
too
It's got to
many.
be it's got
Too
to be at
many.
least over. It's over 30.
Yeah, it's over 30 because there's on Nintendo and Super Nintendo. There's 5. Then there's the PlayStation games. Then there's the Nintendo 64 games. The Nintendo 64. I think there's 3 on PlayStation. There's probably like 6, maybe 7. Then there's the PlayStation 3 games, and then there's the Game Boy. Then there's the then there's the GameCube games. There's a bunch of GameCube games. Then there's the PlayStation 3. There's 2 games on PlayStation 3. And I think they stopped after PlayStation 3. Then there's a bunch of games that they were. Yeah, there's too many to know off the top of my head. I think they're still releasing games to this day. I think they just released another game, digital only. I think there's like Something of Despair that just came out. Castlevania Something of Despair. I think just came out the other day ago. It's like I think it's like a female lead in it as well. So yeah, they're still releasing games to this day. So I don't know how many there are to this day. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then there's also
there's
there's like chess games as well, and then there's games in the games as well. So yeah, it's like Castlevaniaception going on as well. So
That's the only reason I add. Now, the reason I ask because the fact that there's so many of these characters I see on the show, and I have no knowledge about it. I was just thinking to myself, like, well, this can't be accident that when y'all mentioned about certain characters like the the lead soldier in the military, getting turned to a night creature. It's like he's in the game. It's like wow, it's like so that makes me think like, well, how many games are there? That's why I figure it's like it's got to be like multiple ones. That's why I was trying to figure out. Just get my head wrapped around it.
Now, the first 2 seasons are inspired by a little bit of Symphony of the Night and the first game. And then I know Nocturne is based off of Rondo and Blood, and I think mostly Rondo and Blood and a little bit of Symphony of the Night as well. I know it takes inspiration from others as well, but I know those are the main games that they're taking inspiration from.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a collaboration of multiple games that they put together, which it's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And so and like I said, anybody who's watching, we're specifically talking about season 2 because if you ever want to if you want to look back on what me and Anubis did for season 1, you can go to his channel and check it out and look up what we did for Castlevania Nocturne season 1. And but like season 2, we're mostly just talking about like was Gojira, if I'm almost saying that it's loosely based off of Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. They have all kinds of throwbacks and little Easter eggs from both games. And but now we'll jump to Annette and Richter. So I'll pass it to Anubis on what he thought about Richter and Annette and how their romance starts. But it'll be quick. We won't go too further into it because then we got to get to the battle because the battle's the best part, and then we'll get to Alucard. Well, before we get to the battle, we'll get to Alucard, and then we'll get to Ursula and Drolta, stuff like that. We'll talk about Drolta when we start, talking about the battle. But yeah, just what your thoughts? I want to get everybody's thoughts on Annette and on Richter's bonding, and then their powers and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean the romance between them, like I don't have a problem with it or anything. I think Annette is cool as a character, but it's really really weird for because like she's kind of just thrown into this whole thing. She plays an integral part into everything that's going on, but then you kind of forget about her because you got all the other characters that are going on, and especially with the final battle, because she's kind of like behind the scenes, having her own inner battle in the spirit world. So it's like she's there, but she's not there. And then the romance is almost like it's kind of like just boom, happens, there's a kiss, and then that's kind of like all we see at that point. So I don't know if that's going to be something built upon in season 3 or not, but I don't know if you guys felt, I mean, the romance feels a little forced, even though it's kind of weird, but it just kind of feels forced between the characters. I think there's a good friendship there, but I think they were just trying to force them to be more than that. But I don't know, maybe it's because it wasn't enough time to build up the romance more. Who knows? But the characters are cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Cool. And what's your 5-1?
I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed Annette. I thought she's a great fighter. Both with magical powers. And her other. She reminds me of the remake of Mortal Kombat 1's Tanya and their adaptation of her. I know that game gets a lot of flack, rightly so. The game has issues, but Tanya's fun to play as, and she reminds me of that version of Tanya, and the different abilities that she has in that, and Annette is, like that. Richter is, once again, like I was saying earlier in the stream, is taken up to like an 11, the abilities he has in this, the mastery of, the vampire killer, in this is absolutely awesome that he has. And they make a nice couple. I guess romance, yay, cool. Okay, I don't have an issue. I don't have a problem with it. If they want to make them a couple, sure, okay, I don't have a problem. Friends, if they want to be friends, okay. If they're going to be a couple, okay. They end off as a couple, and they're sailing off into the sunset. Okay, fine. Season 3, bring back Dracula. There, I said it.
I second it.
Yeah. Walter.
Well, I mean, like I say, what Gojira and Newman said already. I mean, it's I don't got no problem with it. I mean, to me, and really, I mean, to say this, that in a way, now I kind of agree with Newman. I think the love interest, love aspect, kind of was a little bit forced a little bit, but they do share something in common where they both have initially gotten someone they cared killed while while they were alive and everything. So they share that aspect of their lives. But as far as being together, I mean, it's like, hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, all I can say is he got jungle fever, she's got jungle fever, we got jungle fever, they're in love. So I mean, it goes that way. But I mean, as far as that being the aspect of the story, I just hope it builds up on it when it gets into the 3rd season. I'm really believing there will be a 3rd season, because there's no way this is going to be this tail end of this particular series, because it's too much on the plate for it to be just that and not go any further with that. So I mean, it's from my point of view, it's okay. I mean, it's like I say, I got no problem with interracial, love interest, because frankly, sometimes you need that, because everyone's dating the same, race. Same, heritage. Is like, well, go outside the box, try something different, So, yeah.
Yep. Change is good.
Change is good.
Get a little bit of pepper with that salt.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta put a little cream in that coffee.
You got to sometimes.
I just my quick thoughts on them. Yeah, you know what? Annette is actually based off of a character from Rondo of Blood, but she was Caucasian in the game with purple hair.
I think I heard. Yeah, I think you told me that.
Here again, if we did have a big host of people watching, they will get offended. Oh, color was it? Color mismatching.
That was another thing they were bitching about, dude. That was another thing they were bitching
the color swap or race swapping. There you go. It was race swapping. It's like, I don't give a shit, bro. I mean, come on.
It's not as bad. For me is that, like, I push back against forced DEI and forced wokeness. That's not this. This is well-written characters that don't fall into that sorry category. So, like, even though Annette was a different color in the games, like the character's written well. We're not being forced to say, "Oh, we're just putting in a token black girl because we just want to do it." No, the character's written well. It's not a bad thing at all. So people crying about that are really missing the mark, in my opinion, with that.
See, yeah, and you're right, and that's another thing too that I want to add before we jump to Alucard and then we jump to the battle and then we'll get to little things here and there. It's the thing is, if people were bitching and complaining about when she was race swap, whether it was race swapping or whatever like that, I did like her story, her background story, because it played an integral part and added the history of what happened during the 1700s, slavery and all that stuff, like being freedom. In other words, when freedom is sweeter, when she said freedom is sweeter than the sugar cane they would harvest.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about that, and that was a good part that they made the story work with her, and anybody who is black or whoever, who's Latino, brown, black, yellow, whatever they want to say, even people like us who enjoyed her character. It was good storytelling. It was good storytelling. Her character blended with the story, and that's what I did like about it. But anybody who complains, you know what, to each their own, man. Everybody's got an opinion. Just like you said, what does Walter always say? Like, you know, how can you say it? Everybody's got an opinion, just like everybody has assholes. Come on. So
Yeah, there you
Mhm.
go.
you know what I'm saying. So it's just like that's what I mean. But it's she played into the story well. Did I think it was kind of forced? Now that I think about it, the romance was kind of forced. But I mean, it would have to go longer. It would have to go 10 episodes to really get that romance in there. But I'm glad it went quick because they pushed it forward because of the battle that we're going to talk about. And now we'll jump in and get to just a little couple of little nitpicks that I want to get out of the way. I liked how Drolta and Ursabet and a lot of the other people, a lot of the vampire fights between Alucard in the beginning with Richter and with Annette. A lot of gore, a lot of crap talking, a lot of action, tons of action with good storytelling. Maria getting her due. People thinking she was going to the dark side, and just Alucard's presence is like people that loved the first season. Pretty sure lost their shit and busted a nut when they saw Alucard in this inside season 2. So now, other things I want to talk about that get out of the way quick. The way they used the French Revolution and that part of history was good. It was really good. I thought it was great. It I can watch that whole season 2. I can watch every single episode. That's how much I enjoyed it. I can watch every single episode, even the ones that like Allrock's and Mizrak's relationship. Didn't mind it at all. Allrock's always going back to Mizrak. Like, I want it. Give it to me. And then the love sequences, and then all that stuff. Oh, it's in love, this and that. Okay, cool. Mizrak showing his, even though he's kind of machismo for a monk. He shows his vulnerable side, like any other real man would. And now we get to the battle. Now we get to Alucard. We get to Ursabet. We get to Richter, Maria, Juiced. This is the shit that really makes it worthwhile, and a hell of a finale. Even there's even happy endings, which we'll get that later. But let's get to the battles. Now we get to the battles, and I want to start it off with Jerry 5-1. Explain, my brother, what you thought about the battles, the character-driven powers, everything.
All right, so she comes out and she is much bigger than. She gets a huge upgrade from taking on the powers, and she looks like an Elden Ring boss now. She is massive now, and she's unstoppable. She's just being hit with everything, and nothing is working on her. She's getting hit with Alucard's sword, with Richter's whip, and these different powers and everything. And it's just bouncing, not really, but she's just not affecting her, and she's just smacking everybody around. And then, as a Symphony of Night fan, Alucard starts using his magical powers. He starts using his dark metamorphosis, his like fireball attack. It's like, yes, that move's almost impossible to use in the game, but he's just like whipping out, just throwing fireballs at her. You know, they're flying in the air. You know, like superheroes are fighting each other. Just badass attacks and everything. Olrox, he comes in, you know, he transforms into a big ass dragon. He's trying to fight with her. He's actually piercing her skin with his bites, you know, and she's like knocking him away and shit like that. Maria, she's using her powers and shit. It's quite the spectacle. Badass fight sequences, just awesome stuff. And who's the bat one? The one that's resurrected. I can't remember her name.
Grota.
Yeah, she eventually she comes in and she's starts fighting with it after the one with the I'm sorry, the names are I'm losing the memory of the names of after the one is defeated, and then she takes her power. Then she drinks her blood and becomes like a super version. They have to fight her and try to defeat her then, and it's just
she ends up because that's what I was talking about where Erzbet was in love with Drolta, and we learned through the series that Drolta was the one that was initially Egyptian woman who took on the vampire powers after she killed a vampire. So she was looking for who she thought was the best vessel to take on Sekhmet's powers, and that would be her goddess. So she chose Elizabeth Bathory for that. So Erzbet, of course, was in love with Drolta. So when Drolta died, I think Alucard was the one that killed her initially, or Richter, one of the two. I can't remember which one, but
Alucard.
She was Alucard, yeah. So Erzbet's like, you got to bring her back. So she got the Forge Master to bring her back. And towards the end there, what Gorgio is saying is that Drolta had this like moment where it was really not about love. It was about just she wanted a vessel for that, and she decided Erzbet was not that one. So she just said, "Nope, you suck. I'm going to kill you, and I'm taking your power." And that's that.
So then she then takes the power for herself. I mean, she becomes like even more powerful, and they continue fighting. And that's when Richter, he becomes even more powerful. He unlocks like a new form for himself. He begins, like this blue flame envelops around his body. He starts, kicking ass, in this way that we've never seen before. He's just in this badass way, just punching and kicking. He ditches the whip for a little bit, just punching and kicking and just kicking ass and everything. And then he gets a sword. Right out of something that I would do. He gets a sword. And then he starts pouring his power into the sword, and then makes a new enchanted fire blade, and it makes the blade grow throughout the entire sword even more. It makes a couple of slashes, and that's that. Okay, we'll move on to someone else and let them articulate a little better because I'm a little more excited, talking about this. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome. If you're a big anime fan, you're gonna love this, okay? As a Castlevania fan, you love this as well. Now, you see how much excitement's on my face talking about this, but it's quite the spectacle of a final battle. But to see all of these main characters of the Castlevania series around this time period battle these final bosses, it's quite the spectacle. Outstanding. And to see even it grow and grow and grow and then go to this. It's absolutely awesome, but have someone else articulate it probably a little better.
I'll pass to DJ Nubis.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I'm gonna disagree with it because my favorite character this season obviously was Maria. I like the whole idea of a summoner. So like when I play video games, I like summoners. I like those that can create and conjure creatures out of nowhere. Even the dragon's not even my favorite. That's the most powerful one she has, but it's not even my favorite. I like that little like lion cat thing that she keeps calling. So that thing is cool as shit. Or the wolf. There's like a dark wolf that she calls. It's like fucking badass, and so it has like a bird, and it's just she's very, very powerful. But the amazing thing is, and I don't know if Goji really touched on it, is like just how powerful both Erzbet and Drolta were the entire time. Because you have to think you got Maria there, you got Alucard, you got Richter, you got Juice, and they're all doing some damage, but they cannot kill them. They are just having a hard time handling it. They got all this shit being thrown at these vampires, and they're just like withstanding it. It's like nuts how powerful they are. But yeah, Maria was definitely my favorite out of the bunch, and the fight is just amazing, top to bottom. Like I really liked it, and I liked that it wasn't like a short battle. It was drawn out. Like you really had to work for it, and so I really liked that about the series, how they played out that last final battle. It wasn't like just one done, we got her, she's done. You know, they drew it out, made him work for it.
Yeah, it was most of like the last episode was the entire fight sequence.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean exactly, and I'll get what do you call it? I'll jump into Jedi Granville.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, look, when you see the outcome, like I say, when you first see the dragon the first time when Maria conjures up, you know, it's like, okay, it's gonna go somewhere. I know it is. And then when you see her doing a Daenerys riding the damn dragon, I was like, oh yeah, now we're in the Game of Thrones country right here. You know, I'm loving this. You know, so her doing this, riding the dragon, and then like I say, Juice doing his thing, and of course, like I say, shit. Basically, you know, Richter doing. I said it to you. I said this. He's doing a Dragon Ball Z kind of moves. You know, in there. You know, he's like his powers are just like coming to you know, almost infinity in some sense of the word. You know, and everybody, you know, and it's as Nuba said, like it's not a short fight. It's actually something where it's like, okay, give me more of this. Give me more of this. I want more of this. I want to just suck it in and just kiss the tit of what's going on here, you know. And I'm just like, I'm loving this, you know. I mean, I'm like, dude, I'm drooling watching this, you know, kind of like what Goji was saying. Is that my if y'all saw my facial expression, you could not wipe the grin off my face. I was just that into it, you know. And then, like I say, the moment where, like I say, Droga, when she finally gets her just due, it is so clever how they did this thing. He Richter, you know, turns that blade into a much bigger blade. And when he goes at her with it, okay, we get the point of view of her looking at him. And I kind of like to say, okay, what's going to happen? And all of a sudden the screen kind of, you know, unbalanced. I was like, what happened? I was like, oh shit, did he just slice it in half? And then all of a sudden you see her literally coming apart. I was like, dude, I was just like, what, dude, I'm just fanboying looking at this because, like I say, if you do anime right, you're doing it well right here. And
you know the other cool thing was, sorry, I'll let you get back.
No, go ahead.
The other cool thing that I noticed was, so they had the other half of Sekhmet sort of trying to help them get the power back from Erzbet initially, right? Mm-hmm. I like how it played off like an RPG game. Like you were like, if you ever played Final Fantasy or anything like that, you could see how like they're fighting, but you had to heal. So they had to constantly, Richter had to constantly go back and heal her, like with ice to keep her from overheating. So I thought that was like the coolest fucking shit. I was like, oh my God, this is like a game, dude. This is so cool. So yeah, sorry, Jedi. I just had to point that out because that was a cool.
No, and see, that's the thing. I was kind of overlooking her too, you know, because Annette, you know, she's in the spiritual realm, you know, doing her thing, but her body is taken over by Semet, you know, and she's doing things too, you know. I mean, I like to say all these people are doing one thing, and then they do their there's a moment where they actually do the hero pose, where all kind of like the Avengers moment, you know, they're all standing right there and they're about to go against the I'm just like, dude, this is superhero stuff, and I'm just like loving it, you know. I mean, it's like they all got to put in their whole 100% in this shit, not even 100, like 1,000%, trying to take these motherfuckers down. And you know, it's like it's not easy, but that's a good thing, because if it was easy, if they do and I'm gonna quote this: if they do a Steven Seagal, you're gonna lose your. You're gonna be like, okay, what's the point of me watching this? It's like you're too overpowered to do this kind of stuff. This is where you realize everyone's got powered up, but how are we gonna take these people down? How are we gonna take these baddies down? Even the the night creatures who were being influenced by Edic. What was his name?
Edward.
Edward. The ones he influenced, he got them to battle against the other night creatures that weren't being influenced by him. I mean, even they have that moment to shine. It's like all these things coordinate together, and it's just like it's a beautiful song and dance that I'm just like, man. I mean, like I say, I was just losing my shit when I was watching it. I mean, it's just like this is what you want to. This, like I say, when you was a little kid, this is what you wanted to see as a little kid. You want to see death and destruction, badass moves, and it's like, okay, when it's all said and done, I'm so digested from that. And to me, the battle in here was like, I can say, I don't. If I wanted to compare it to the first season, first season, the first episodes of Castlevania, I can say they had their moments. They had great moments, but it seemed like they were tipping over a little bit more with what they were doing in here. In just this one episode. So, yeah.
Well, this series is like the best one run on Netflix. It's one of the best ones out there, bar none, to me anyway.
I mean, it's like I said, like you guys already pointed out a lot of great stuff. Now I'm just gonna break down certain things. For one, the sword that Richter uses to slay Drota is actually Alucard's heirloom sword, and I have to get to Alucard because I've always been a huge Alucard fan. I'm not saying I got nothing against Richter. I really love Richter. He was a badass in this and all that, but I'm more of a Trevor guy because that's who I grew up. That's who I grew up, playing in the video game. But
Let's just be honest, though, Sentry, real quick. Like, let's just be honest. Like, we're not going to throw a blonde wig on you. You're not going to be Alucard. You don't look like okay?
Oh, okay. Oh,
I might be looking like Juice, but you are not looking like Alucard.
Yeah, you ain't got the whiskers for it, or the.
Nah, I mean, I could. I'll stick with maybe a Simon Belmont there. What do you call it? All brawn Simon.
There you go.
What do you call it? No, but honestly, yeah. The part that really got me was when Alucard powered up and embraced his vampiric side.
Yeah,
and he actually started fighting like Dracula, and that's what I really like. That when he threw the Dark Metamorphosis freaking fireball, man, I lost my fucking shit, dude. I was like, no way, they finally put that in the freaking series, bro. That should have been in the first series, but it was. And for one, just to let Gojira know, I was able to use the Dark Metamorphosis fireballs. I learned how to use them really, really good.
Of course you were.
I'm
sitting there trying to use it with the thumbsticks and the analogs, and it never worked. It never worked for me.
I learned how to do it.
I'd always start the sub weapon every time. It's like I always had the stopwatch equipped, and I'd always hit the stopwatch. It's like, okay, I'm trying to use the fireballs, it's just not working, and it's like the stopwatch. I just forget. I just go up and just slash with a sword, and I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just use a sword all the time.
I picked it up and learned how to use it, man. So yeah, it's just when you use it, it leaves you open. It leaves you open.
That's why you're the sci-fi Sentry. That's okay. That's why you're in charge. That's why you're the boss. That's why. Okay.
Oh, but don't say that, man. It took a while. It took a while to learn, though. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't overnight. It took a while to learn. But no, but
I am not worthy. Yeah, I own you guys. Eat a little bit of this. Here you go. Yeah, you from this too. Yeah, okay.
Here you go.
It's like there you go.
No. But like all seriousness, man. Alucard, and when he was going after Drota, Alucard always kept a calm and cool demeanor. He was yelling, he was grunting, he was like, "I'm gonna kill this freaking demonic freaking bitch," and it was great, man. The animation was top notch. Alucard, all the Drolta, Maria using her dragon, Juice, everybody had it, but this Alucard, it got me because it reminded me so much of the game. So I was like, that's why I had to get it. But no, don't get me wrong, everybody did the. It was amazing, dude, amazing freaking battle, man. When Elizabeth gets her arm ripped off by the dragon, by Maria's dragon, I was like, dude, I was like, wow, dude, like it was great stuff, and it was just like Chef's Kiss, like Gojira 5-1. It was to me the top, my favorite right now on Netflix, like bar none, freaking one of the best series ever, man, and I'm glad it's a Castlevania game, and all the callbacks, the ending, the happy endings, Alucard finding another purpose, saying that all I've been doing is just hiding from the world. I stay on my own, whatever. And it is kind of implied in Symphony of the Night that Maria, when she grows up, she kind of falls for Alucard. So
Mhm.
it's kind of it's a planet, but he's been in love before. He had a lot of love interests before, but he outlives them. That's what he said. Like in the end, when he's talking to Juice, he says I got tired of you, Belmont. That's why I freaking lost contact with you guys for a few years. But he said he also got tired of Belmont's dying because he outlives all of them. He outlives
And
them.
how interesting is that? Because unlike Alucard, who's probably allowing people around him to be who they are, Ulrox doesn't give Mizrak the same choice. He's like decided he's going to keep Mizrak around. How that's going to play out will be interesting because Mizrak did not want to be a vampire.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously now, Ulrox, out of love, wanted to keep him around, but that's against Mizrak's choice. So that'd be an interesting thing to watch going forward.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, I don't. I think he was hesitant at that point, but because he said he was afraid to die. He was shit. He was afraid of what's going to happen to him, or what happened to the abbot's going to happen to him. And that's when Ulrich says, "Well, don't fear the devil. There's a lot of ways. There's more than one way to cheat the devil. He's easy to cheat." So that's what I liked about Ulrich.
Right, I
See,
knew right there
like
when
I
he
said,
said that what he was going to do. He says, "There's more than one
oh
way to
yeah,
cheat
oh yeah,
devil."
dude. I knew,
Oh
I
shit!
knew he could have let go of that Mizrak. Could have let him go, man. But that's what I did. See, even the that, like I said, that's where we go to the end. The goodbyes were kind of, for me, not emotional, but a little emotional. But it's like, man, it's like you love the games for so long when I was a kid, and I'm watching them now. Now that I'm freaking an adult, and a middle aged person, like it's like, man, like they finally did it. In my opinion, they finally did it right. And even Richter and even Anwar, man, Anwar, he says, "Hey, shit, we accept you." Uh, Annette accepted him for who he is as a night creature. So I'm just glad the way it ended, and all of you know everything was just amazing. Like it was an amazing series, man. It was like Walter was more emotional than I was, but don't get me wrong, like towards the end when they were saying their goodbyes, I was like, man, it's just like the game. It's just like a game where you say your goodbyes, whatever, and just like Godzilla. Like I said, Godzilla is mostly my number one, but Castlevania is always my number two, and I love it because Castlevania, like hand in hand was an escape as Godzilla was, and that's why I loved Castlevania so much. And seeing this, and, at least in my lifetime, that I was able to see it come to fruition, that they did the job. They're not going to always be spot on with the video games, but I loved it, man. I love the series. The series ended up on a bang, bro. Like, and it's just season two. There might even be a season three. So I don't know how they're gonna outdo season two, man. Because they're gonna need some, yeah, bring back Dracula, do all that stuff. But it's gonna be a lot.
Dracula.
He's just in
Dracula.
a different dimension, man. You can bring his ass back.
I mean, just that's what I'm saying. Like how I'm just telling myself, how are they gonna outdo season two when they did all of that? How they gonna outdo it? And that's why I wouldn't mind if it ended right now. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if it ended like that. But I still am, intrigued to see what they'll do with now that Terra is being manipulated by Mephistopheles or whoever he is, Old Man Coyote. But as far as that goes, I mean, like I said, I'll just get everybody's last thoughts, man, and then we can wrap it up. Uh, last thoughts first, Anubis.
Yeah, so I still, yeah, like I said, it's still like one of the best series right now going on Netflix. If they end it, they end it, but there's still so many avenues you can go with this series too. Like we haven't really had a perspective yet from the villain side. So if they did, you know, a side quest from going, let's say they went back to the first season with the original and just had it from Dracula's point of view, how he got to where he was, or Carmilla, who was like one of my favorites from that first season of Castlevania. So they can do a lot of different things, even if they don't want to continue with the Belmonts and the good guys side of it. They can go different things. We still, whatever happened to the other Forge Masters too. There was one particular one that we never heard from again. He was out wandering somewhere. So, there's a lot of things you can do. It'd be kind of cool. A Maria perspective, maybe, because she stayed behind, who knows? But I really enjoyed this season a lot. This is a really fun thing to follow. I played Symphony of the Night, like I told you when we talked about it during the first season of Nocturne. But I was never a big follower of Castlevania. I mean, I've been looking at games actually recently. I've just been looking around like, oh, maybe I should buy that. It's like old, But the reality is that the series itself is very cool. And I like that doesn't hold back. It is for adults. It's not meant for kids. Even though the games were designed for kids, but the reality is it's more for us. We're the ones that grew up with all this shit, to begin with. So I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy with it.
Cool. Jedi Granville.
Well, I mean, I can't say as much as the news. He's pretty much put the cherry on top of it. I mean, it's that kind of series. It's that kind of event that you hopefully will not get bored by. I mean, this definitely didn't keep me bored. This kept me like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. I was just like, dude, as I said before, I was eating it up. I mean, and I and I'll go back to something I said to you before. I say, damn you, sci-fi, for suggesting this show to me, man, because you got me hooked, and that's kind of what it was. I got hooked on, you hooked me and reeled me in, and I was expecting not to really like it as much, but that's why I say it's like, thank you, but thank you for suggesting it to me, because I mean, hey, I would have missed out on some great stuff. And like I say, this show, I'm thankful that I got to watch, because like I say, it did the number on me. And I'm like, if they just ended it here, I mean, just done it, it's like, okay, fine, but if they make a season 3, I'm right there with it,
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Gojira.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride that we've been on. If they end it, okay. Now thinking about it, if they do bring back Dracula now, it kind of wouldn't make sense if they were to kind of drop Easter eggs or drop hints of Dracula's return in the next season. I think that would make more sense. If they just full on bring him back, it probably wouldn't make sense unless he's the one kind of pulling the strings and it's really him doing it.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't really think that honestly make much sense. But I would say kind of build back to Dracula, not really bring him back full on for the next season. Like selfishly, I would love to see him come back, but then again, it wouldn't really make much sense. But if they were to do season 3, build up to him, but then I'd like to see a season 3, but if they were to end it, it would actually make sense to end it here. But, it's a good thing. I don't really see a good thing end, but you don't want to see a good thing turn into a bad thing as well. So, just as long as it stays smart and good, cool. But if it turns bad, you don't want it to go bad either. So, just have to see what the future has for it. But I like it. Love it.
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh man, like I said, glad to hear you guys in your last takes, man. You guys already know my last take is I loved it. Best show right now for me on Netflix. Don't go anywhere, guys. Before right now, don't go anywhere yet. But Anything coming up for DJ Nubis or DJ Nubis, Gojira, or Walter? Anything coming up yet?
Yeah. So tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be on a guest on Tokusatsu Action Land to do a review for King Kong versus Godzilla 62.
Okay.
Nice.
And then Friday, Mr. Tony and Dead and I are doing 2 episodes of Ghouls of Midnight. One's going to be Messiah of Evil. The other one's going to be what is it? Get Away, the new Nick Frost horror film. And then later I'll be with Kevin Lambert on Entertainment Headquarters as we review The Giant Behemoth. Yeah. And then Saturday, the one thing I have is Retro Movie Show with Kevin Lambert again. We'll be reviewing The 13th Warrior. Ooh. And then next Tuesday, as we get into February, I'll be doing my last kaiju spotlight of my first series with Fat Samurai Guy doing Biollante. So that's what I got.
Oh, Jerry 5-1.
I don't have anything planned up anytime soon. Had to make some changes and some things, so kind of dry well as of right now. So yeah, kind of big holding pattern. So just have to wait and see.
Cool. Jedi Granville.
Well, aside from news, I'm going to be attending that Giant Behemoth melee come this Friday, and me and him and a bunch of other people like you going to be in the mixed up, and also next month, I'll be attending the Kong Fest that good old Kaiju Goodness is going to attend, with everything Kong from the first original one, and like I say, we're going to do King Kong versus Godzilla 62, and I think we're going to do King Kong Escapes. And this is the fall. Like I say, this is falling month. This is all in February, and everything. So, but for my channel personally, that's in the works. I'm still trying to get the things that I need to really start up my, as I say, the so-called live stream edition of my channel. But eventually, that will happen. I mean, if it's not next month, it'll be the following month. But that is in the works, and when it gets there, hopefully, I'll just be like you guys. I'll invite you on here and. And hopefully y'all attend and give y'all, 2 cents about whatever we talk about. And from that, we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, cool. Well, like I said, I'll be on Entertainment Headquarters with Kevin Lambert with a few of the ones you guys mentioned. I'm gonna be probably the Giant Behemoth, a few of the Kong spotlight and stuff like that. So I'll be on that. But as far as me doing any more streams as of yet, probably maybe late February. Conan the Barbarian, get that one out of the way. But that'll probably be late February because I took me a lot of energy just to do this one, especially with everything I got going on. But yeah, man, I mean that's it. And you guys already heard it was watching. I'm glad, and as always, I'm honored to have you guys on my Sci-Fi Society podcast. Castlevania was the shit. We always keep it raw and real. We always say it like it is. We don't beat around the bush. We love what we do. The Metal Tavern, Entertainment Headquarters, the Sci-Fi Society, the Sci-Fi Society Collective. I love doing this, man. And sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I'm motivated. Sometimes I'm not. But as far as that, everybody who was watching, I would like to thank everyone who joined. Kevin Lambert. You guys, Jedi Graham Bell, Sexual Chocolate, the Master in Chief of the Metal Tavern, DJ Anubis, and of course, Gojira 5-1, Matt Jacobson. As always, guys, we always keep it raw and real. We are the Sci-Fi Society. You guys don't go anywhere. So, as always, keep it raw, keep it real. And we are out, everybody.
Peace.
Don't waste a moment of your life.
Ooh, the Sci-Fi Society crew.
We are the Sci-Fi Society.
DJ Anubis. Here with the Meltdown Radio podcast with my special guest, Sci-Fi Century, our fearless leader and founder of the Sci-Fi Society.
That whole story, like, that's pay for you guys. Like, you don't get a lot of that stuff.
All right, no, one day.